Welcome back, Quest for You fans. I'm Janine, and this is my podcast, Quest for You, episode 114. Intriguing title, Relationships and Individuality. I thought about this title for a while because this is our third installment, if you will, on relationships. In episode 102, we covered the relationship with yourself as the one that determines your level of success with all your other relationships. And then in episode 107, we moved from self to meeting the other, your friend, your spouse, your co-worker, any important person in your life. The interesting part that you may have noticed is that even though we are now face to face with the other human being, it's still all about self, how we show up, how we step up, and how we lean in, and then how we build a connection with the other person. Often, just when we hear the word relationship, we imagine this complex web of interconnection, talking and listening, arguing and agreeing, fighting and making up. We see a big red sign that screams, proceed with caution. And it's true. Relationships are naughty. Think about yourself. How multi-part are you? There's so many different layers to you as a person. We don't even hardly understand ourselves. And now we decide to spend a significant amount of time with an equally complex human being. It's normal to clash, to run into obstacles, to be confused, dumbfounded at times, and to question. That's the reason some people decide to stay alone, because they find it impossible to manage. Despite their intentional seclusion from society, I believe most humans want the contact with the other. Humans are highly social beings. We like to be surrounded by friends and share our personal experiences with others. Just take a look at the rise in popularity of the various social networking tools. In a matter of a few years, people worldwide felt the need to connect with other humans. This illustrates the strong and fundamental human desire for social belonging and interpersonal exchange. The human brain, and particularly the neocortex, which constitutes its outermost layer, comprises many of the brain areas involved in higher social cognition, such as conscious thought, language, behavioral and emotional regulation, as well as empathy and theory of mind, which is the ability to understand the feelings and intentions of others. We are, so to speak, biologically hardwired for interacting with others. However, all this aside, why then can relationships be so challenging? And I will not attempt to answer this question. What I will attempt is this. I want to help you have better relationships. And you probably already know, but the answer to this lies within us. Milan Kundera says, the only relationship that can make both partners happy is one in which sentimentality has no place and neither partner makes any claim on the life and freedom of the other. And this quote kicks us off into this episode about relationships. And I want to talk about something that's important that we often forget. We wonder years later, why is there no passion in my relationship? Why is there no desire like it used to be when we first met? You may be disappointed again. I won't talk about your partner or friend, the things he or she could do better, how we should try to get them to do something. Nope, we're going to talk about you. Because in the end, it's all about you. In very simple words, you need to be good first. You need to have a healthy relationship with yourself. And today, I want to talk about what I believe is the most critical element in a relationship, and especially in a romantic relationship. And it's something you probably don't expect, and that is your individuality. I have lost my individuality in several of my past relationships. That is why they're past. I have observed close friends do the same. And then I have other friends, still married, working through their issues, but overall happy. And I see this commonality. Each partner maintains his or her individuality. What is this individuality? What does it mean in a relationship? Maintaining your individuality means you stand solidly on your own. You don't rely on someone else to hold you, support you, and make you feel whole. That means you have your own point of view, opinions, ideas, and respect for your own needs. You have a sense of self, which means that you can be separate from your partner. Too often, we seek sameness in our relationships. We think, now that we're together, we need to be on the same page all the time. Same activities, agreeing on things, same ideas and perspective on everything. And that is often the reason passion goes away. Everything becomes a controlled, monotonous operation. There's no excitement, no surprise, and no wonder. We cannot seek sameness in our relationships. That constant need for consensus and validation, it leads to bickering, arguments, and eventually breakup. It's impossible to agree with the other person about everything. If we need our partner to validate what we think or feel is okay, then we are dependent upon their approval. We need to give up trying to be on the same page all the time. We need to take a step back and acknowledge the differences, embrace them, and battle with them. That's when growth happens. Growth comes from embracing the differences. Individuality means you maintain your you, the person you were before the relationship. Clearly, we all change and evolve, and a relationship will call on us for many changes. But you don't need to give up yourself entirely to make yourself fit into a relationship. If this is required for the relationship to work, then it's not the right one for you. Intimacy comes from having enough of a separateness so you can move towards the other person. And this happens constantly, not just when you first get together. There's always movement in a relationship. Together, apart, agreement, disagreement, surprises and changes. There has to be flexibility for each person to evolve as their own individual human being. This includes being willing to tolerate the aloneness. Like when your partner doesn't agree, and not to change your story or your plans so you can get his approval. It's standing up for yourself and tolerate and talk about your differences. I think there are 3 critical elements of individuality. They will also surprise you. They are not what you think when you think about happy relationships. But here they are, and they are important. Number 1 is distance. Distance refers to physical and emotional distance. It's important to maintain some space and allow each partner that space for his or her individuality. You don't have to be together all the time. You don't have to do everything together. In fact, it's nice to think of your partner when he's away, to imagine yourself with him, to feel longing and desire, and to anticipate his arrival. These are the things we do when we are not living together, and they are the ones that fuel that passion and desire that we feel in the beginning. A healthy distance will keep the sparks in your relationships. Sometimes we just need it to think. Emotional distance refers to the letting go of issues from time to time. Not everything has to be resolved right away. Let it be. You don't have to react to everything. Not all problems and all changes belong to the other person. Relationships require your ability to navigate separateness and togetherness, to have space and individuality, to respect when it's time to be alone or time to be silent, and to value and to make the best of the time when you're together. When you speak, do so with care and respect, to remain curious, interested, and engaged with your partner. Remember, your partner is not your property. Respect the individual in him or her. Allow the other person to be. Number 2 are individual interests and passions. Individuality allows for each partner to pursue their own interests within the safety of the relationship. This is hard for many, as we often feel we need to have a grip on the other person, and that includes their interests. When they stand alone and receive applause, we feel we need to be part of it somehow. We need to let go of this need to own the other person and allow room for them to shine. There is the admiration again we have in our early months of the relationship. admiration creates desire and passion. Admiration is looking at your partner, radiant and confident and supportive. There's a sense of mystery discovering your partner's abilities and uniqueness over time, to watch them pursue new interests, to try new things out. This looking at your partner from a comfortable distance, where this already so familiar person is momentarily once again somewhat mysterious, somewhat elusive. This seeing your partner on his or her own, doing something in which they are enveloped, that is beautiful. That is allowing for an expression of individuality. This giving of space then allows for movement again, apart and together, not in a teasing or controlling way, but by simply letting be. And number 3 is originality, or you can call it novelty. The third aspect of individuality are your direct contributions to keeping the relationship fresh and original. This is the antidote to monotony and sameness. I think when we get serious with our partner, there's often this urge to integrate the two lives as quickly as possible and then try to swim together. It appears as that is the thing to do. We now have what we wanted and we forget to consider our needs along the way. Every relationship requires constant flexibility and adaptability. It's not feasible to expect to come home every day at 6 after work and expect the same person to face you. We change, times change, circumstances call for change. This doesn't work anymore, so let's change it. At work we do it. We adapt, we change our approach, we try something new. How come we are so hesitant to accept change at home then? We have this static attitude towards our relationships. We expect sameness, and that's not reality. Instead, come together and decide on the change. Review your relationship together from time to time. Where is it going? What are we missing? What do we want? Take that step if you feel it's needed. It shows you intentionality and that you care. And you may want to suggest engaging with new experiences if things have become old. Make an effort to make the relationship thrive. Maybe step outside of the comfort zone, the routine and the schedules. Seek novelty. Try different ways of being with yourself and with the other. We often think love comes with selflessness, with giving up and surrendering to the life of togetherness. We take on new roles, often that of a caregiver. And in the process, we lose our individuality and our originality. The thing that makes us us, our dreams, our passions, our ideals. And in the relationship, this means that our partner has nothing new to see or to discover in us. It's sameness, it's flatness. Desire and passion go away because everything is already out there. There's nothing to look forward to. I believe relationships need excitement. They need anticipation and a little bit of uncertainty. Will it happen or will it not happen? So take some risks. Put yourself out there and take the time to think about your relationship and your role as an individual in that relationship. Your quest for you is still your quest. It doesn't become a common quest. So start digging. Maybe it's time to build a social group outside of your marriage, something of your own, or pursue an interest you have always had. You may find that this lets some air into your relationship, which every relationship needs. Passion and desire in relationships come with a certain amount of selfishness. The ability to stay connected to oneself in the presence of the other. That is the individuality that I'm talking about today. And with that, I want to leave you thinking about your relationships. And reach out if you have questions. With much love. Until next time.